my time. These magazines wanna feature me, cause they know I'm on the rise. But the attention, I'm on a mission. Cause ever since I flipped that switch, my power can't be denied. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. Call me a king, buy me a crown. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my. I'm leveled up, and this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. Pay attention, I'm on a mission. Man with a vision. Got a passion, making it happen. Ready for action. And this is my world now. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. So anyone who try to write me off, tell them they can go and write this down. This is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. And this is my world now. This is my world now. Hey! Here we go! We coming ready or not, you better steady yourself, because we're raising some hell. There's nothing keeping this roof from blowing off. We're taking over the town, hit the switch and shut it down. Like Indian, we're electric, never stop. We coming ready or not, we coming ready or not. We're giving all that we got, we're giving all that we got. We're coming ready or not. We're throwing gas on the fire, the stratosphere getting high.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Our family started RVing a few years ago, and when I think about all those campfires and fishing trips and sporting events, these are memories that are going to last a lifetime. I want to help others do the same thing. Hi, I'm Kevin Smith, General Manager at the all-new CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater. People in this community are very familiar with this location and the great service they've always received. So the biggest question we get is, where is Keith? The great news is, Keith is still here.
I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of things come and go. Through all the changes that we have seen, one thing that has not changed for us is the quality of our service.
Buying an RV is a big purchase, but it should be a fun and happy experience. So whether it be in sales or service or parts, our mission is simple: be the best. From our team here at CLICKIT RV in Milton Freewater, we invite you to come down and experience the difference.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to coverage of iRacing on LSRTV, the Community Radio Network, and we are set for round number one. After some exciting qualifying and duels last Monday night, the stage is set for these drivers to go at it for 200 miles, 80 laps. I'm Wesley Outland. Jason Rockefeller is here alongside. Terry Radford will be here momentarily after he takes care of another iRacing commitment. But Jason, this is the event that we all look forward to. Bottom line, Jason, tonight is going to be an exciting night for these drivers with 200 miles of racing action for these guys around Daytona. Strap in. It should be a good one.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting one here tonight, Wesley. And I mean, we saw on the duels on Monday how chaotic they were. I sat here and I told you and Terry, Duel 1 was probably going to be really interesting. Duel 2 was probably going to be chaotic. They were both chaotic. So, I mean, you know, anything goes here tonight. 200 miles, 80 laps here around this great Daytona International Speedway virtual. It should be a great one. You know, you got Jeff Stabnow, Ryan Bloom up on the front row here tonight, and they're two fast guys who were really showed out in not only qualifying, but they also showed out in their duel sessions. But it's anybody's race here tonight.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. Again, with these drivers, we saw some wild duels last week to set the stage. And you mentioned him just a moment ago, Jason. Jeff Stabnow. Could this be the year that he's on the cusp of looking for another championship? Long way to go to get to the playoffs, but it could start here tonight at the Virtual World Center of Racing.
Yeah, it very well could happen tonight. You know, Jeff's a really great driver. We've seen him improve over the last couple seasons, especially since I've been here. Last year, I remember he won at Kentucky in the Cup Series. Very impressive run for him. Also, always a very underrated Truck Series driver here in the Northwest Racing Division. So, I mean, if he wants to kick off, you know, his season right, why not do it with a win at Daytona? You know, I mean, that's what everybody wants, right? It's the world center of racing. Everybody wants to win here, no matter if it's your cat, your dog, your parrot, your grandma, your uncle, no matter who it is. Everybody wants to win here at Daytona. So Jeff Stabnow, like I said, has to be very consistent this season. Got a lot of tracks that are going to be very different. Drivers are going to be good at some are going to be really bad at some. But Jeff's got to do really consistent this season if he wants to win that title.
And by the way, Jason and I will be on the call tonight. I'm understanding Terry Radford is not going to be with us this evening. So, again, 200 miles. You got a 2.5-mile racetrack. You've got 31 degrees of baking. You've got the super stretch. You've got the tri-oval. When do you make your move, Jason? And, again, we saw some exciting racing in the Xfinity cars for the Fixed Series on Wednesday night. These trucks, though, you got to race them differently, hands down. What will it be the key to be whoever we talk to in Victory Lane tonight at Daytona?
Well, yeah, I mean, Wesley, the difference is between the Xfinity Series, which welcome back for the CLICKIT RV Fixed Series, which is the Xfinity or the B car, as we call it on iRacing, that showed up on Wednesday with their 4th season, coming back to LSRTV in the Northwest season. What a duel for those both races. But that's the thing about those cars. Those cars are way differently in the draft compared to here. Even as we go along the season, the B car and the C truck are really different. If you want to win here tonight, you're going to have to be patient. That's a lot to ask for from some of these guys, because some of these guys want to come out here, have fun, race, but you got to be patient. 200 miles is a long time around here at Daytona. That's 80 laps. That's 80 laps of riding around trying to be patient without, having calamity happen. Be careful on the bumper. We saw that a lot on Monday night. Guys were constantly pushing one another, pushing the pusher, pushing in the corner, hanging on that right rear, spinning the guy out. You got to be very careful pushing tonight. And if you want to win, stay out of trouble.
The Northwest Truck Series is brought to you by CLICKIT RV in Milton and Freewater, Oregon. They are the Columbia Basin's low price leader for new or pre-owned RVs. Capture model closeout deals before they're gone. CLICKIT RV in Milton, Freewater is located 2 miles south of the Washington border on Highway 11. Find more details online at CLICKITRVMiltonFreewater.com. And we are about 90 seconds away, as it is the Press Box Motorsports Podcast Countdown to Green. Join Charles Wooten, Brockton Packard, and weekly guests as they talk about any and everything, all things sim racing related, with a splash of the real racing world as well, to mix weekly on LSRTV. That's every Sunday afternoon. And, of course, we also want to thank Kaufman's Creative, Race on Texas, LSRTV, and the Community Radio Network. He is Jason Rockefeller. I am Wesley Outland. Charles Wooten is ready to push the buttons for the broadcast here tonight at Daytona. And this is round number 1 for the series, where last year in the trucks, Tyler King went on to beat the championship contenders of a 3-horse team play against him being a single guy, going out at Phoenix or at Homestead to win the title. Everything resets. You saw qualifying last Monday night. You saw the duels, as me and Jason talked about. Now it is time to put these 43 drivers, because, by the way, the Opportunity Olive Branch was extended to invite other Northwest competitors, meeting the criteria, mind you, to come in and race. And I believe, Jason, as we're 20 seconds away from the lineup, we will have, if everyone shows up, a 43 truck field.
Yeah, like the guy in our ear was just telling us 43 trucks today. That's a lot. 36 trucks is usually what a standard truck series field holds. So these guys are going to be all over the place tonight. You're going to see drivers up into the wall, down the bottom, below the apron, hopefully not below the apron, but a lot of trucks. It's going to be a really good race.
Let's go to the track, and it's what you've all been waiting for. The official lid lifter of the 2023 season, season 10, mind you, for the Northwest CLICKIT RV, or the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV tonight at Daytona. 43 trucks ready to go. And without a further ado, from last Monday night to tonight, the starting lineup. Former champion from Billings, Montana, Jeff Stabnow with a 24 Ford. To the outside, Ryan Bloom. He looked strong on Monday night as well, and Wednesday in Xfinity's Fixed Series. Row number 2 will find Troy Daggett and Tyler Kim. Those are, by the way, your dual winners from last Monday night. Row number 3 will find Cole Raz in the 10, and the Cup Series champion of last year, Brian Barnes in the 4. Row number 4, Toby Ritter's in the 23, and Stephen O'Hare in 41. Top 10 at Daytona will show Chris White, a former Cup Series champion, and Dan Lowther, Jason, he made some noise in the duels for Xfinity on Wednesday.
And that'll round the top 10. Row 6, you got Eric Cox in the number 19 and Ron Hunter in the number 30, who was very strong in his dual race the other night. Row 7, Brian Reynolds in the number 12 and Shad Malik in the 08 car. Row 8, Seth Frazier in the number 2 and Tyler King in that number 21 machine. Row number 9, Scott Hutchinson in the number 91 and Dan West Jr. in that number 55 as always. Row 10, CLICKIT RV's own Kevin Smith in 00 and Lake Peterson in the number 9.
Row 11, we'll find Caden Anderson of the 37, Sean Brightsman as well, two-time Series Truck champion on the outside. Paul Newton of the 27, former Cup champion. Russ Lumberg in the 129 with the glasses and the big hair. Row 13, Stephen Paulison and Robert Gamble. Row number 14, we'll find Greg Grunwald as well as Mark Walls in the 48. Top 30, going to be Devin West and Brett Johnson.
And then row 16, you got Frank Harris, BJ Duval. Row 17, Troy Ollison in the 49 and Dennis Moore in that number 44 machine. Row 18, Ray Fournier in that number 26 and Eric Cheney in the number 76. Row 19, John Ottenbacher in the number 89 and Aaron Cooper in the 71 machine. Row 20, James Vining in the number 333 and Gary Nichols in the number 8. Row 21, Dylan Huffines in the number 6.
Go ahead, Jason.
Sorry, my bad. Dylan Huffines in the number 6, Chris Kynes in the number 20. And rounding out the field is Ryan E. Gormley in that number 22 machine.
We were just trying to make sure we had the lineup officially done, as it is about time to wave the green flag. Ladies and gentlemen, 200 miles, 80 laps, round 1, Northwest Truck Series, Daytona. You have a virtual race. Field comes to the line. The season is underway. Right now, everyone being patient. It's Jeff Stabnow in the early going to the lead. Everyone now single file, at least the first 6 trucks down below the line. And I'll tell you what, Jason, in the early going, Jeff Stabnow now falling back because Ryan Bloom really makes something work on the outside, and he's going to carry Duel 2 winner Tyler Kim with him.
Yeah, Tyler Kim did such a great job in the duel, surviving all that calamity that happened, and both duel races were separated by just 0.03 of a second. That's absolutely insane. And right now, Tyler Kim finding himself riding right behind Ryan Bloom, who started on the outside pole position. Jeff Stabnow dropping back a little bit. He's got help from the 4 of Brian Barnes right behind him. But Dan Lowther jumps up to the top, and he's in front of him as they head into 2.
This again is 200 miles, 80 laps. The Xfinity Fixed B Series cars will do the same thing on Wednesday. Climbing the bank, get up on the outside into 1 and 2. Bloom on the inside. Kim will follow. Lowther and Stabnow and Barnes trying to make something work on the outside lane. It can't get organized just yet. Thinking of going 3 wide for a moment. Looked like Barnes. Now he'll gather back in. And as they climb the bank, get into 3 now, Jason, off the super stretch. It is now a 2x2 tandem.
Yeah, that outside lane, though, keeps getting 1 truck added about every time they go through the corner. You saw right there in the back, the 41 of Stephen O'Hare. He jumped up to the top side. He's that tail end truck right now on the outside lane, but you can see now Lake Peterson helping that second pack behind that lead pack try to draft up to that outside lane behind the 41 machine. That outside lane, Wesley, all night long off turns 2 and off turns 4 is going to be really fast. That bottom lane, just like on Monday and Wednesday, is going to be flying through the corners.
Back straightaway, 3 laps in. Inside, going to be Bloom. Outside, Lowther. Tyler Kim, Stabnow. There goes Hunter on the inside. Remember the strong run Ron Hunter had on Monday as well. Working through the tri-oval. About to put 4 laps on the board. Still a long way to go in this race, only about 10 miles into it. And all the while, it's Lowther now, putting the 63 Ford in the lead on the outside into turn number 1.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job with him and Jeff right behind him. They got a little squirrely there off turn 2. You got to be careful. It's so early in this race. You want to make sure you're not pushing drivers or pushing the pusher, like I said in the beginning of the broadcast during pre-race. And Lowther, he was very squirrely there off turn 2. Good job by all the guys behind them, like Brian Barnes and Jeff Stabnow, to collect themselves and not wreck there coming off turn 2. But everybody, so far, so clean. Hopefully we can keep it that way.
Performance 38 below the double yellow line. Kim, company up top shelf. It's going to be Lowther there. Then it's Hunter and Stabnow. They work off 4.
Yeah, that outside lane just has way more trucks in that bottom lane, 5 compared to however many there is on that top side. But you see the pack slowly starting to catch up to that front 4 row, to those 4 front rows right now. That outside lane is just so fast right now off this corner, or off the corners here at Daytona. I would not be surprised if Jeff and Lowther are able to clear the 25 and the 38 off the bottom if they get a big enough run and draft correctly down the straightaways.
At speed, back straightaway, going to 3. Bloom on the bottom. And Bloom will hug up on the outside along with Lowther. All of these drivers continuing to hold their position. Right now, as it stands, lap 7 of 80 into the inside. Lowther, Bloom, Stabnow, Kim, Hunter. Top 5 as they go to turn 1. Stabnow trying to start to make a climb up on the outside there, Jason, in the corner.
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect to see him pass. Just the 38 of Kim got really loose there on the bottom. I believe he clipped the apron there, heading out of 2. Good job by Tyler Kim to save that race truck and keep himself above that double yellow line. But I would not expect Jeff to really move up right now. I think he's pretty comfortable being where he's at, considering the fact that he's got Brian Barnes behind him, who's another successful driver in that number 4 popsicle machine. Always a great-looking paint scheme. So him and Lowther right now, I believe they're just going to ride around that top lane. Hopefully they can get some more drivers to help generate a run off those corners, and maybe they could shuffle out that bottom lane.
Going back into the first turn. Lowther is in that second spot, but here comes now Kim with a push on Bloom at the bottom. Hunter is right there. Barnes trying to hook up with Lowther's truck along with Hunter on the outside lane. On board with Tyler Kim, the 38 machine. Giving a little bump draft, if you will, to the 38, to the 25 of Bloom. Ryan Bloom absolutely strong as they work back into the corner.
Yeah, he's got a very fast truck leading this front pack here. Tyler Kim just got to be careful because I keep seeing him get very loose in the corners. I believe he might have to make an adjustment whenever they do pick, because remember, this is an open setup series compared to our fixed series that we will be racing on Wednesdays for the Northwest Series. So all these guys like handling differently. Some like to be tight, some like to be loose, some like a bunch of tape put on the grill. I just see one driver gets out of line. That's Ron Hunter to the outside lane. He'll jump up in front of Lowther. He'll try to go to the front here.
Ryan Bloom. Look at them now going inside and outside. Look at Hunter now. Ron Hunter has now climbed to 3rd. Fast, trying to drive up there and get something going.
Ron Hunter right now. He's just pulling Lowther back behind him. And you see Kim right there. He's just still super sideways. You gotta think to yourself if he maybe is just having a little bit of a handling issue, or if he genuinely is just getting down to that double yellow line a little too much and causing that back end of that truck to step out, because that does happen a lot here at Daytona, believe it or not.
And so far, all 43 trucks have stayed right there with one another perfectly. Coming off of the corner. Coming up on about 25 miles into this race now. When they come to the line, it'll be lap number 12. 11 on the board completed. Bloom is the man out in front. Hunter on the outside. Kim and Lowther. Daggett, Stabnow. Don't count out also Eric Cox looking on the outside is Stabnow. Behind him is White. And they're like 2 by 2 by 2 with the behind the pace car at full speed, if you will, Jason, going to turn 3.
Yeah, that's just a product of the super speedway racing like we have at the new Atlanta Motor Speedway and at traditionally like we see at Daytona and Talladega nowadays, with this aero package that the Truck Series has. And in reality, all 3 series, both the trucks, the Xfinity, and the NASCAR Cup Series, just like they do in real life, translates over to iRacing. But like I was saying before, all these guys like handling differently. Some like speed, some like handling. But everybody right now still double file right now. But Ryan Bloom and Tyler Kim are doing a very good job on that bottom lane from keeping that outside lane, having a run off the corners on them, because Ron Hunter and Dan Lowther, both 2 very strong trucks, along with Jeff Stabnow in that number 24 machine.
For the most part, everybody just continuing to stay in a line. Nobody
There we
jumps up.
go.
Wow, Lowther turned. Big trouble, like Jason said. Big trouble. My. They have wadded up the pack. Wow. Jason, I wasn't expecting the big one on lap 12, but we just got it.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last lap, these guys off turn 2, they were generating huge runs, creating big checkups. And unfortunately, into turn 3, we'll see what happens here. It looks like, wow, that was all aero. That is crazy because of this fixed setup, or not fixed setup, sorry, open setup. Wow, that is half the field right there. But you saw, maybe if we can get another look at the replay from Dan Lowther's point of view, Lowther was going up to the outside, had Jeff behind him, no contact made, nothing like that. But you saw Dan Lowther get out of line, and the truck just snapped on him, all because of the air pushing against that nose, and it just sent him right around in front of the whole field, and a lot of trucks, Wesley, were taken out in that one here.
Yeah, for some reason, I've got some kind of a bad lag on my end, and I when you said trouble, I'm like, what's going on here? They're coming in the third turn, then all of a sudden, man, it looked like Lowther just kind of just lost it, and so many good contenders involved in this accident. The only positive note for this is they've got a fast repair, and they can use that free fast repair if they choose so right now. Here's, again, some of these trucks on pit road. As you saw what was left of Chris White's truck. 14 of 80 laps and a massive big wreck going into that third turn. Jason, and you said again, you don't think it was Lowther's fault?
No, not really. I mean, when they were coming into the corner, everybody was just running normal, and Lowther went a little bit higher than usual, and Jeff followed him in pursuit. And then right off, heading into the corner, Lowther ducked up to the outside lane, then tried to get back in line, maybe jerked the wheel a little bit. But I can't see him jerking the wheel that much and causing that thing to step out on him quite that big, because when he came down to tuck back in line behind the truck in front of him, the thing just snapped. And the same goes for the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. In my opinion, from racing these trucks, especially with these open setups, that's a handling issue. And when you take trucks that handle like that aren't exactly good in the middle of the pack at those high speeds and with the air that way, it's just a recipe for disaster. That's more than likely what happened right there to Dan Lowther and Jeff Stabnow and the rest of the field right there. Just a huge accident so early on in this race.
Make no doubt about it. The drivers that were caught up in that accident will certainly go on and take a fast repair, as here comes also other trucks coming to the pits. Ryan Bloom, Tyler Kim, Ron Hunter. Stephen Paulison is going to peel down, looks to come to the pit lane. All for service. Wow. Well, we started with 43 trucks. Now Paulison's going to peel off. Looks like it's going to cycle back around to Tyler Kim, Ron Hunter. Got a question for you, Jason. How do you, as these drivers, virtually shake off what just happened, getting that big accident that just took place?
Well, especially with this being an open setup race, make sure you have your adjustments dialed in after this stop. And if not this, you know, I mean, if not after that stop, make sure that you best bet your bottom dollar that you got those adjustments made for the next pit stop, because we're still going to have a little over 60 laps to go when we go green here. If you're these guys, got to be patient. Long race. Green flag pit stops could be a factor. You're going to have to pit. Got to make sure you find out who your dancing partners are. Don't push too hard. Know when to give and when to take. This is super speedway racing. This is like, you know, like they said about Bristol, flying a fighter jet inside of a gymnasium. Well, think about that, but you could probably only go about 3 wide realistically here at 200 miles an hour. So it's going to be interesting to see. But a lot of guys taking out early, but they got that fast repair, so we'll see how they use it.
So after that big wreck, we now settle in for the restart here on lap number 15. Ready for the field to come back to the Geico restart zone with now Tyler Kim, Ron Hunter, Aaron Cooper, some of these drivers that we are watching now bring the field back to green on lap number 16.
Tyler Kim got a really good restart, but wow, pretty wide almost right there. Here comes Aaron Cooper. He did not want to stay in line behind Tyler Kim that easily. He wanted to jump up to the top, and he's got Ron Hunter, Dan Lowther, and some other drivers right back behind them. They're going to go to the front, and here comes Ron Hunter to the inside looking for the lead in a 3.
Back straightaway, Kim on the bottom. Here comes now Lowther alongside. It's Hunter on the inside. Where has Aaron Cooper come from? The 71 machine up on the outside. Makes a run. Ron Hunter will lead again the lap.
Dan Lowther, though, he's trying to look right now to that outside lane, trying to think to himself, man, what do I got to do? Am I clear? Am I not? Wow. That was such a squeeze right there for the number 20 of Chris Kynes. He just barely slid across the front bumper of that truck behind him. He got right back behind that 38 of Tyler Kim. Dan Lowther looking for that lead right now, chasing down Ron Hunter on the back bumper.
And the back straightaway they go with Ron Hunter still holding on that top spot. So impressed with the driver of the 30. Lowther right behind him. Here comes Kim. Now Cooper trying to make something work on the top now as they climb the banking into turn 1. He'll carry Mark Walls with him. Chris White back in the dance after having a fast repair. He's back in the top 10, along with Hutchinson and Malik on the back straightaway.
Yeah, Chris White's always really, really fast here, especially he's going to be fast all season long as they head into turn number 3. But that outside lane, oh, there goes Ron Hunter sideways. He saves it. The rest of the field saves it behind him as they work their way through turn 4. Oh, my goodness. One of the saves of the year. Jot that one down. Ron Hunter, round of applause for him. He was all the way below the double yellow line in turns 3 and 4, saved it, and everybody behind them gathered it up, and they keep on trucking here on lap 20.
What an absolutely amazing save for the 30. But now, Aaron Cooper shows his strength to the lead. Mark Walls back after a 3-year absence in the 48 truck down to the inside. Pushed with Lowther and Hunter to the back straightaway.
Yeah, Mark Walls is going to go right to the lead. And here comes Dan Lowther, the guy who's been up at the front all night long. He's a driver I want to circle. And you notice he's got a lot of damage, Wesley, on the front nose of that machine and that back bumper. So you know what that means? He did not come in and take a fast repair. The damage wasn't nearly as bad as he thought it was. So that means if Dan Lowther is to get in a wreck that could result in race-ending damage, he still has that fast repair left. So that's why he's duking it up here at the front, being risky, and he's pushing Mark Walls in that number 48 to the lead. But I'm sure, bet my bottom dollar that 63, he's looking to go back to the front real soon.
20 laps in, 1 caution so far around lap 12 and 13. We've got a quarter of the way through. Aaron Cooper, the leader. Let's give you the rundown. Aaron Cooper leads, Chris White second. Now Mark Walls will go to second, Chris White to third, Dan Lowther fourth. Chad Malik is fifth, Ron Hunter sixth. BJ Duvall is seventh, Tyler Kim is eighth. Dylan Huffines ninth, Chris Kynes the top 10. With still 60 laps to go and 20 laps away, Jason, just halfway in this race.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go. These guys got to be super patient. Like I was saying, under that caution period coming back to the restart zone, you could just see, though, how aggressive they are with these pushes. Everybody's still very loose. I just see Mark Walls continuing to lead here at Daytona. The 71 of Cooper outside with Chris White. We were saying right back before how good he wasn't getting back to the front. He's got him, Chad Malik's up there, BJ Duvall, Chris Kynes, Tyler Kim still hanging in there. A lot of these guys here tonight, Wesley, have a chance. It may be Daytona, but they always say, even in the past, that it's anybody's race. It's a crapshoot when you come here to these restrictor plate type tracks. But you see a lot of the same guys up at the front, even nowadays in the top 3 divisions of NASCAR. You see these guys like Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, other drivers always up at the front. You got to think to yourself, too, that could be the case here tonight in this truck series.
Working off 4, coming back to put a line now completed for lap number 23 as they work the back straightaway. A phenomenal job right now by Mark Walls. He has not raced in the Northwest in close to 3 years. And even during that time, he is the all-time winner of the series. And he's looking to go right back to victory lane again. But now Aaron Cooper slithers his 71 to the number 1 spot. Walls will go to the outside. Lowther, White will follow. Here they come storming to the line.
It's Chris White pushing Mark Walls now, and they're going to have to get around this lap traffic. That number 129 machine, that's Russ Lundberg up on the top side. We'll see if that causes any calamity, because we've seen it in years past and even recently. Lap trucks, they get in the way sometimes. Drivers try to avoid them, and it causes a bunch of chaos. But so far, they did a great job, but he's in the wall right there, got squeezed, but no harm, no foul. They keep on trucking here as they hit with lap 25 out of 80, but Mark Walls still out front with Chris White pushing him as they go into 2, Wesley.
Mark Walls, the man that leads the way. Chris White now battling back to go to second. Cooper, of course, Malik, and Lowther coming to the 5, and it will be top 5 as they come back into the corner. We're pausing for 10 seconds of radio identification. The Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV from Daytona, returns in just a moment.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Aaron Cooper was the man that's been really strong. Now he's stuck up on the outside lane. Mark Walls now trying to go back to victory lane for the Northwest Trucks for the first time in 3 years after an absence. He leads at Daytona. Chris White, Dan Lowther, top three. Jason, they're off the three.
Yeah, they're doing a great job right now. Mark Walls still out front right now with help from Chris White. We keep talking about him, Wesley. He's been doing a great job, was so strong last year in the Truck Series. And Mark Walls, though, after a 3-year absence here from the Northwest Racing Division, he's back better than ever, ready to win it some more as they head down into turn number 1. See Dan Lowther outside with Aaron Cooper still on the top side behind him. He's trying to push in, get that outside lane formulated, and trucking. Down the back straightaway they go. Still side by side now. Back in the third row. In the 3 they go now. Mark Walls, Chris White still out front, but double wide behind them. Chad Malik, Dan Lowther. They're double wide here as they come off turn number 4. Coming to complete 27 laps of this 80-lap event right now. And it's getting dicey up at the front here. Wesley, Dan Lowther looking to take the top spot away from Mark Walls.
Coming to the line this time by, it'll be lap number 27 completed. As these drivers work their way back into turn number 1. It's Walls on the inside, outside Lowther. White, Cooper, Malik changing, no top 5 so far. Everyone else just kind of, for the most part, being patiently. Some climbers of the races. Mark Walls up 27 spots to the lead. Aaron Cooper 34 spots to 4th. BJ Hall up 27 spots to 5th. Dylan Huffines up 33 spots to 8th. Eric Cheney up 24 spots to 12th. Chris Kynes 29 spots to 13th. John Onnenbacher 27 spots to 15th. And the list goes on of some of the climbers of the race. Ryan Bloom, the furthest driver to fall in the back. Right now, it's Waltz leading as they go to the line. We're about to put 30 on the board into turn 1.
And now they're off turn number 2. You saw Dan Lowther there. He was getting pushed really hard by the 71 of Cooper there off the corner. That's a place where you don't want to push. But so far, they're still side by side as they head into 3. Another lap truck right ahead of them. It's a golden black machine right there. Ford F-150 to the top side now as they work their way off turn 4. Mark Walls still out front with Chris White behind them. And here they come. They're getting around that lap traffic. Look, lap 30 up on the board here this time by. Back to turn number 1.
Climbing the bank in. It's going to be now Waltz on the inside. Lowther will follow. All of this transpiring as they work their way back into the corner. 30 of 80, 50 laps to go to the finish of this 200-miler. 10 laps to halfway. Besides the big wreck at the start as we approach midnight Eastern time, Jason, this race has been fairly comfortable.
Yeah, so far so clean, really. Besides the one big wreck that we had happen around, I believe it was lap 12. See a lot of guys right now. They're still slicing and dicing, like we like to say. But so far, so good. Everybody's still double wide, and it really, so far tonight, I circle about 3 guys on my list, Wesley. Dan Lowther up at the front all night. Chris White, always a guy who's super consistent at these racetracks and everywhere we go. And also Aaron Cooper, he's right there lurking, up 33 spots, now 34 from where he started tonight. He is going to be one to reckon with here tonight as they head down the Daytona backstretch into turn 3.
To the back straightaway, going to that third turn. It's still, again, the Waltz Beard Co. number 48. LSRTV machine. Mark Waltz, a little do-si-do. Everyone else is single file, the conveyor belt of speed down below the double yellow line. Everyone else behind the top 2 trucks are 2x2x2. And as they come to the line, another truck trying to get something started again is Lowther on the outside with the help of White and possibly BJ Duval getting up there to cause some ruckus as they work on the back straightaway.
Yeah, BJ Duval has made his way up to the front, plus 25 from where he started. And Ron Hunter still up in that top 10 after that crazy save he had going through turn 4. Still cannot believe, by the way, that they were able to save that. A round of applause to not only Ron Hunter, but everybody around him that avoided him. So, great job by him. Also, another shout-out, Dylan Huffines in that number 6 machine. Up 35 spots. He started in the back tonight, and he's all the way up to the front. So, it just goes to show you, Wesley, that anybody can win here, but you got to be consistent. You got to be smart if you want to win. It's still a long ways to go.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, you literally got another 7-8 laps to the halfway mark. Then, obviously, you got to be patient. We had that big wreck, if you will, around the opening 15 laps of the race. Now you got to balance yourself. You got a couple of trucks that are a little damaged up. Some in the field have took a fast repair already. Because, honestly, Jason, they had no choice in the matter.
Yeah, and that's the thing now, Wesley. With these guys taking these fast repairs, you either can be super aggressive and try to get to the front. Like, for example, I know he didn't take it, but if Dan Lowther chose to take that fast repair, if that damage was more, but clearly it's not because he's out front and feels comfortable with the damage he has, if he would have taken that fast repair, there's only 2 options he could have really done. He could have either A, been conservative, stayed in the back, or B, he could have ran hard, got to the front, and risked his truck from getting wrecked and possibly being out of this race. And that is what some of these guys are more than likely doing. I think to myself right now, like drivers like Brian Bloom involved in that wreck. I believe he took a fast repair right now, back in 33rd, minus 31 from where he started. So it's either play conservative or be really aggressive towards the front.
Field will come to the line. Waltz, White, Lowther, Cooper, Malik, the top 5. We're going to step away. We'll be back with just more coverage of the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV. Here's some words from our sponsors. But by the way, you're not going to miss anything. We're going to go side by side, and we return from Daytona in a moment.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Back here at Daytona, closing in on halfway in the CLICKIT RV Northwest Truck Series Daytona 200. 37 of 80 laps. I'm Wesley Outland, Jason Rockefeller alongside Charles Wooten hitting the buttons. By the way, let's take a look on your bottom right of the TV of the Kaufman Creative weather conditions leading up to tonight's event. Remember, qualifying and the duels last Monday night were, if you will, in the daylight before nightfall. This race is under the lights as we see 67 degrees the virtual temperature. Scott Hutchinson under attack, the red and gold 91 up on the wall. 12-mile-an-hour wind speed, partly cloudy skies, and the track temp at close to 69 degrees currently. That weather conditions brought to you by Kaufman Creative. Mark Walls is the leader. Chris White in that number 2 spot. Aaron Cooper is third. Jason down the back straightaway they go. Walls now trying to get some company from a former Cup Series champion, Chris White, to the backstretch going to 3.
Yeah, these guys have been duking it out for so long now. Mark Walls and both Aaron Cooper, 2 drivers who are going to be a threat to reckon with here tonight. But back to you being the weatherman, Wesley. That reminds me, because it's good that you, and thank you, by the way, for bringing up the weather, because I look at that wind speed. It went from 14 to 12 miles an hour. You got to think to yourself, at one point, at some time during this race, that wind was probably so strong in 3, I wouldn't be surprised if that's what caused Dan Lowther to get out of shape like that in front of the whole field, with not only the fact that this is an open setup race, not only the fact that aero push and all the drafting and the way that the air movement plays around with these trucks, but that wind speed plays a bigger factor than you think here at these super speedways in the draft.
Yeah, you're exactly right. People don't really take into account what that wind will do. And that wind could have possibly, as you said, been what might have started that little slip by Dan Lowther to take out some really good contenders. But nonetheless, we press on. We're closing in halfway. 40 in, 40 to go. And coming up is our LSRTV mid-race report. We'll give our thoughts of the first half of this race so far, as we'll get you ready to bring you inside the broadcast booth as the field works their way down the back straightaway here into turn number 3. Mark Waltz is still the leader. You see White, you see Cooper, you see all these drivers going at it.
He's we got a wreck in the back right there. We got a wreck in the back.
I saw one draw.
Yep, there we go.
Oh, man, oh, man.
It's the number
More
49.
trucks crashing.
We're Olison.
Troy Ollison's truck involved. There's another couple of trucks that are also caught up in it as everything clears. And the caution is out for some drivers in the back of the pack just after halfway. Jason, what's your thoughts of the race so far? Second caution of the night, halfway through, 100 miles in. Second century grind going to get wilder now, you think?
Yeah, talk about timing. Thanks to all these guys over at the Northwest Truck Series for giving us the perfect time. But no, all jokes aside, it's been a very interesting race. I'm actually very shocked that we haven't had nearly as many cautions, but that's a good thing. But now that we say that, it's probably going to get very hectic. Cautions breed cautions. Talk about, Wesley, you just said 100 miles in, 100 more miles to go. Long ways to go. This is about how many laps it is, usually at 1.5 miles for a fixed official race on iRacing, usually about 40 laps at every 1.5 miles they go to. So realistically, you're going to have about, almost an hour to complete this race pretty much. That's how long you're going to have to try to get to the front. But a lot of guys, as you see some drivers coming into the pits right now, I circled I put my pen and I circled 3 drivers' names. Mark Walls, who's been very strong. You talk about how he's been away for 3 years, comes back, very strong so far. Chris White, also another driver, he was very strong in his dual race. And Aaron Cooper in that number 71 machine. Love the paint scheme, playing, but he's very fast. Don't hesitate to put your bottom dollar on him because he's been very fast tonight.
It looks like there's been close to 25 trucks that just come to the pit lane. We'll bring in our producer / pit reporter, Charles Wooten. Charles, everybody in the top 25 just come to the pit lane. I wonder if they're ready to try to take this race to the finish, possibly.
They are. I talked to a couple of drivers. I talked to our leader, Mark Walls, or was the leader. He still is. Now he comes out. I asked him, how's the truck handling? He said, fantastic. That was his only words to me. I talked to Jeff, said, how's the truck handling? He said, I got destroyed and got no fast repairs. Talked to Devin West, asked him the same question, how's the truck handling? He said, we're pitting and we're coming to the front.
There you go. So there's some strategy of 3 drivers, if you will, Jason, just kind of giving their insight of the way things are going so far. The good, the bad, and the ugly of Daytona. What do you got for us, Jason, as we enter our LSRTV mid-race report and get ready for the restart?
Yeah, it's been a great race, like I said beforehand. And like Cody was just talking about, you know, some drivers like Jeff Stabnow. And I don't believe that Ryan Bloom has a fast repair left. He's still 25th in that number 25 machine, ironically. But yeah, I mean, he's been very strong, or they were very strong in qualifying. It just goes to show you that not the fastest trucks in qualifying are going to be good in the race. It's anybody's race to win as long as you're in the right place at the right time. You keep your head on your shoulders, stay cool, calm, collective. Patience is key. We've seen that here tonight. Congrats to these drivers for being super patient tonight. Only 2 yellows. I expect there to be a lot more racing, though, later on. Give it about 20 to 15 laps to go. I'd say that's when you start seeing a lot of guys being super aggressive. And friendship, throw it out the window. It's gone. I might as well open this up and throw everything I have right here out the window. Because friendship is no more. It's your time to shine, your race to win.
One more thing I got to say is the field's in the back stretch getting ready for the restart. Lights off on the pace car, and we come back to green on lap number 43. We've not seen a lot of that 2-truck, 2-car tandem tonight like we saw on the duels on Monday. Is it because it's at night? What is the reason do you think we're not seeing this for, Jason?
Just really because you can't really push as well. Plus, you got to remember the fact that the field was split into 2. Plus, even if you were to add both those fields together, you had more trucks entered in last minute here. 43 trucks we talked about before this broadcast. You're in a huge pack, condensed together at almost 200 miles an hour. You don't want, listen, I've been that guy. You don't want to be that guy to push somebody wrong and cause the whole field hitting up that Q button and start cussing you out, telling you what the heck you're doing. But, I mean, that's a product of it. Just don't push the pusher. Be easy on the bump drifting. But you're going to see a lot of guys not care about that as much here late in the race.
And with that, we go back to full screen. That has been your LSRTV mid-race report presented by CLICKIT RV. Green flag back out here at Daytona. And we're back to it again with Mark Waltz on the restart, jumping on the inside. He'll take White on the top side, down on the bottom. Duval. Will Duval from Huntington, West Virginia. To the inside. And his truck is looking good. Don't want to jinx him, but he's got a really good drive to the front, up 30 positions to 3rd.
Yeah, these guys so far, though, still side by side. Mark Walls, though, with the help from BJ Duval on the bottom. And here comes Dylan Huffine, set up before 37 spots now from where he started, doing such a great job. He's been just hanging in there, doing his own thing, moving up positions whenever he can, whenever somebody gets shuffled out. And so is Sean Brightsman, another driver we haven't talked about, along with Ryan Gormley. 2 drivers in that number 46 and 22 machines. They have both gained a lot of positions from where they started here at the beginning of this race. They're looking to get up towards the front, along with John Ottenbacher in the number 89, who's up 27 from where he started.
Aerial coverage presented by LSRTV for tonight's race and any race. Your home for sim racing. And the backstretch is where they go on to turn number 3 now. All the while, all of this continuing to transpire as the drivers work high above into turn number 3 and out of 4. Coming back down to the line. Approaching lap 50. Over 120 miles into this one here so far. Coming up, and it's again Mark Walls. Jason, what's Mark got to be thinking? First time in 3 years back racing with the series, and he's right back like he hasn't missed a step.
Yeah, well, we did talk to him, I believe, last week, and he said he was looking to just come out here, have fun in that number 48 machine. Not only is he running here, but he's also running in that Xfinity V-Car series, the CLICKIT RV Fixed series. Can't wait to see those cars on track on Wednesday. That's going to be one heck of a show. So don't forget to tune in as we're going 3 wide right now. That's Chad Malik and Aaron Cooper. Oh, man, this is some great racing here. Good job to these drivers for keeping it clean. But, yeah, Mark Walls going to be a driver to look out for all season, no matter when or where he races. He is a driver who is going to be one to reckon with at every racetrack they go to. But he's under fire from Chris White on the outside lane here, coming off too, Wesley.
Back straightaway. Walls is the leader, but here comes Chris White. And make no mistake about it, Chris White is a man that knows how to get it done in the Northwest Series for Trucks and Cup, a former Cup Series champion back in 2020. 2021. Sean Brightsman, your 2020 champion, now in this mix as they work their way through the corner. John Odenbacher down to the inside. Well, COVID won 2020, but they still had a series champion. Walls, Duval in second. He is not pulling away from Walls. He's hanging right there with the 48. That's the 32 to the inside. And we're about to put 50 laps on the board when they come to the line.
Yeah, it's getting really dicey right now, Wes. I saw that 71 of Aaron Cooper, probably my favorite to win this race right now. He almost got up into the wall in the center of 1 and 2, and he is trying his hardest to push Chris White in the right places at the right time right now. He was looking a little bit high there on the outside of Chris White there down the back straightaway, but now that outside lane is kind of breaking up a little bit. Sean Brightsman is not really closing up to that back bumper, that 71, as good right now, but here they come. They're trying to get one heck of a run down the front straightaway, and then just like that, they've caught back up to the 71 of Aaron Cooper.
Coming to the line this time by, it is now 50 laps in when they come back to the stripe. They're on the back straightaway. Chris White now outside to the lead.
Oh, there we go. We got one spinning. It's Mark Walls.
Walls goes around. Dan West Jr. Lowther.
Oh, no.
Everyone piles in. Big trouble between turn number 3 and 4. Shades of where the first wreck broke. It does again. And the field just comes apart.
Man.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Wow is right. We said it at the same time. Wow is right. Wesley, not only was that wreck happening with Mark Walls involved, there were 2 separate wrecks. There was the big one, and then there was the follow-up big one, like Kyle Petty says. And we're going to get a replay here as they head into turn 3.
Cooper, man, I don't know. Oh, my mind. Jason, would you say Cooper drove Walls all the way? Oh, my God,
absolutely,
did you see him get smashed?
Yes, absolutely. Aaron Cooper, I believe, thought he might have been clear, tried to get down in front of Mark Walls. We'll take a look here again. Yeah, this is just coming off
me like Cooper. It looks to me, from the aerial coverage, Cooper ran the 48 of Mark Walls all the way down to the apron below the double yellow line and literally did not lift. Let's look here. And watch what happens to Walls when he gets slammed into and just smashed. Look at this. Oh! And it looked like he blinked for a second, but then he got slammed up into the wall again.
Yeah, that's just connection issues, unfortunately. But yeah, back to what you were saying, the 71 cars, we have drivers on pit road like Chris White, Dylan Huffines, Dan West Jr., who we haven't talked about all night, having a solid march to the front of the field. But yeah, Wesley, that 71 machine, I think that was just getting a little too close for comfort. He didn't need to get into Mark Walls there. wasn't really getting pushed by Sean Brightsman at all. But down that back straightaway, it gets so tight. These guys are running at such close quarters, at such high speeds. Unfortunately, something had to give, and unfortunately, it was two of the top contenders here tonight.
Well, another yellow flag coming up again. Wow, my. There you see what's left of Chris White's truck. I think he's actually okay. He got caught up in the first one, but not this one. There's Frazier, Seth Frazier. Just some of these trucks now that are up in the front that were not part of the accident. Everyone else, dual winner last week. Tyler Kim on the pit lane, now exiting. Daggett caught up in it. Chris Kynes, Chad Malik, Ryan Gormley, Stephen O'Hare, Scott Hutchinson, Troy Daggett. Some of these drivers involved, Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore. Almost half the field in two different occasions, if you will, caught up in the accident that we could call the big one now, Jason.
Yeah, that was about 2.5 big ones, maybe 3 if you want to count that second half of that pack that went flying apart heading into turn 3 over the Juan Pablo Montoya jet dryer patch there. But yeah, this is that time of the race now, like I said, that, it was going to get a little dicey. Haven't hit that window yet where it starts really getting hectic. But you already see the pushing, the shoving, the beating, the banging, the bumping. Everything about this race, it's all coming into play now. It's all getting into a little ball, and you're about to throw it at these drivers because that's what they're having to deal with. The wrecks, the close quarters, the high speeds, people pushing when they shouldn't. Unfortunately, that's a product of this super speedway racing. And now, just because of all that stuff, Seth Frazier finds himself up at the front. Haven't talked about him all night long. Dylan Huffline's still up there. Sean Brightsman, Aaron Cooper's still up there as well. But a lot of drivers still could be contenders that are looking out.
Let's get an update from the pit lane after the big one with Charles Wooten.
Well, it was hard to catch them. They were moving quick, but I did get a chance to talk to Dennis Moore, Kevin Smith, Ryan Bloom, and Toby Ritters from Win Racing. Asked them how the truck was handling. Same thing. They all said good. And they said they're fast. They said 10 to go. Watch them. They're coming to the front.
There you go. Win Racing. Keep an eye on them. And by the way, closing in on lap number 54 when they come back to the Geico restart zone. 53 laps in when they come to the green. This time, Seth Frazier. Dylan Huff finds there's your Virginia 811 call before you dig. Caution information, 3 yellow flags, 5 caution laps, and 14 lead changes amongst the leaders. Thanks again to Brian Morehouse. Had a great conversation with him about NASCAR on Saturday. And, of course, thanks to him sponsoring the race caution information ticker. We are back to green. 53 laps on the board. 27 to go here at Daytona.
Yeah, they're side by side going into the corner now. Chris White trying to reclaim his top spot that he so rightfully deserves in his eyes. He's going to be side by side with Frazier off turn 2, halfway down the back straightaway here on the sandy beaches of Daytona. Sean Brightsman pushing that 47 truck to the lead as they head into turn 3. Is Chris White going to come down? He'll stay up top now as they work their way into 4.
Working their way into that corner, into turn number 3 and 4. They come to the line. Seth Frazier inside. White on the outside. Huffine, Brightsman, all getting their chess pieces in order to declare checkmate in about another 20 laps or so. 25 to go at the line next time by. The leader is Frazier. Seth Frazier, new number, same look. At the front, he's looking for a big win tonight for the series at Daytona, if he can pull it off.
Yeah, new number, same look, same driver, that's for sure. And that number 2 Toyota Tundra TRD machine, he's trying to get around Chris White, but White slams the door on him, gets on the apron, able to save it. Now that leaves Sean Brightsman, John Ottenbacher up on that top lane. They got help from BJ Duvall. And Monday night last week, winner that's Tyler Kim and that number 38 machine doing a great job trying to maintain his way back to the front, but that time by Chris White back in front here at Daytona with just 25 laps to go as they work their way into one.
.25 to go to the back stretch. Off the corner past the blend line to the inside. That's Chris White. Drifting now in front of Frazier's truck. Here comes now Brightsman. Brightsman knows how to battle. Here and win here in Daytona. Here comes the Brights Boutique. Number 46, originally from Puyallup, Washington. The 2020 Series champion of the Northwest Cup. Now from Tucson, Arizona. And behind him, a gaggle of trucks, including John Audenbacher in the 89. Look where he's at. And when it comes to super speedway racing, Jason, he's got some pretty darn good credentials.
Yeah, John was really strong in his dual race the other night, I do remember. Don't believe he finished all that well. But then again, there were some major wrecks in those two duels at the end of that race. But good to see John up here at the front, plus 33 from where he started, trying to push Sean Brightsman and himself along with BJ Duvall and that number 32 machine. They're trying to get back to the front. But hey, look no further, Wesley. Look who's fourth in line on that bottom side, and that number 71. That's Aaron Cooper, one of those drivers who was involved in that last wreck. And here he comes this time by, hitting 23 to go. He's trying to get back to the front.
Chris White on the bottom. Everyone starts to climb the bank, and again, the 31 degrees here at Daytona into 1 and 2. Passing the back straightaway now. White stays hugged to the inside. Brightsman up on the outside. That truck tandem now 2 by 2 right behind one another. No one. Well, we're starting to see two truck tandems, if you will, Jason, but they're still in the big pack of traffic. And to me, that's dangerous if you're going to try to do some two-truck do-si-do amongst the other pack of swarming bees at the same time, but they're holding it together all four.
Yeah, the only ones who are really doing it are the top four drivers, with Frazier pushing White and Ottenbacher pushing Brightsman. As you got one truck in the wall back there, no harm, no foul. They keep on going now. But down the front straightaway, like you were saying, Wesley, as they head into one, only those top two rows have really been pushing one another. And that's really the only two guys, or the four drivers who can really put the two-car tandem into effect. Because if you're anybody in that back, like, for example, if you're BJ Duvall and you're pushing John Ottenbacher, trying to push him to push Brightsman, that's just going to cause a chain reaction. You can't see if Ottenbacher's closing up to Sean Brightsman as much, if he's on his bumper, if he's a car length back, if he's 2 car lengths back. That's why only these top two rows are really pushing and using that 2-car tandem into effect.
Coming to the line, 21 to go. It's 20 to go next time by. We'll be 60 laps into this race. And the fireworks, I believe, are about to pick up. It has been, for the most part, a fairly clean event, with the exception of those 2 massive multi-truck accidents going into turn 3 around lap number 15 and around lap 50. Halfway, we had a little spill as well. A couple of trucks involved in an accident past the start-finish line going to 1. But now, 3 quarters down, 20 to go at the line. It is time to see who is winning round 1. And right now, it's former champion Chris White of the Cup in the 47 to the inside.
Well, Wesley, it's go time now. I said it under the LSR mid-race report that between 20 to 15 laps to go, it's go time now. But a lot of these guys are still staying double wide. A lot of guys keep on jumping up too high. If I were people like Dan Lowther, if I were people like Tyler Kim, if those guys are getting up higher than usual in front of you, make a move. Go 3 wide. I know it's risky, but I mean, it just goes to show you that you're here and you mean business if you want to try to win this race. Right about now is if you're about 8th, 10th on back, right now is the time you want to start getting to the front, because it has been very hard to pass for these guys, even trying to go 3 wide. We haven't seen a lot of that tonight, but right now is the time to do so.
Back off at a 1. Everyone just kind of continues to just hold their line. The question is, when do you break out of line? When do you go for something? How about Tyler Kim? Dual winner last Monday night. He is the highest climber of the race of anybody, from the pole truck winner, Jeff Stabnow, to now, of course, Mark Walls with his issue. Troy Daggett way in the back. And now he is right there in 7th. Dual 2 winner. Tyler Kim, 18 to go at the line.
18 to go this time by at the line. They're still double file. 2 by 2 by 2 as far as the eye can see right now. And Chris Walker on Brightsman, they're duking it out. John Ottenbacher, he wants to get that one big run on Sean Brightsman, try to push him to the lead. Maybe those two can clear Chris White and Seth Frazier in that number 2 machine. But if they got to do it, they got to do it soon.
Back straight away into the corner. Going now to 3. And Brightsman now showing his momentum as the top dog of the Northwest up to the front. For how long? 18 to go. Now 17 to go when they come to the line. Slicing, dicing in the back.
Oh, it's
maybe a little
too
soon. Truck in the wall. Kim's around.
Stephen O'Hare.
Truck wrecking. Stephen O'Hare turned King champion of last year. Everybody on the binders. You could just feel the tension happening there. Wow. Caution out. 17 to go.
I was just going to say, Wesley, off turn 4, John Ottenbacher made one heck of a save. He got right up in front of Chris White's bumper. Chris shook him out of line. It put Sean Brightsman in the middle lane, and they all tucked back in, but you see other drivers just not able to gather it back up, and unfortunately something had to give. It was Dan Lowther, a bunch of other guys. Dan Lowther was involved, Tyler King, other drivers, so many good trucks here tonight that were involved right there in that caution.
$16 laps to go. Brightsman now the leader. Drivers involved in that accident, of course, involving Stephen O'Hare, Tyler King, so many others, as we showed you the replay. Well, Jason, I think that this caution is only throwing fuel on the fire.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. But the cautions breed cautions, and now with the caution with just 16 laps to go, you're going to have guys up here who really haven't been towards the front all that much, I want to say. But so far, so good. You got drivers who are trying to come back to the front. Cole Raz, somebody we haven't talked about all night, who I'm surprised as you saw some drivers fake out coming to pit road there. No reason to pit unless you need to come in for fuel or you're trying to fix that damaged race truck. But drivers like Cole Raz, who will come into the pits, Robert Gamble, Tyler King, all some of these guys who are more than likely involved. Some of these guys now, they want to start marching their way up towards the front. But I'm still putting my money on Aaron Cooper. I still think he could probably do this. He's been so strong here tonight. He's up to 8th right now from that incident that happened just a handful of laps ago with him and Mark Walls. So looking for him to try to make something happen here late in this race, but it's going to be chaotic to say the least.
Charles Wooten, down to you. What is your take of what is going on for the finish of this race? Any other updates of drivers coming to the front from the
Well,
pits.
I literally just got back from talking to BJ Duvall, and I told him that, the votes were in, and he was voted most likely to not win a Northwest race in the past. And he added to that and said he's most likely not going to win this race as well. So he added to his own statistics, and he doesn't think he's going to win this race. So if he does, he'll be surprised.
But the question is, though, Charles, is that some reverse psychology, you think?
No, we really think he's probably not going to win this race.
Well,
BJ's a brother.
you find out who your friends are. It's what I was going to say.
Well, to the ones that know, BJ's like a brother to me, but I still don't think he's going to win this race.
Sean Brightsman is the leader. John Ottebacher second. BJ Duvall is third. Chris White fourth. Seth Frazier your top five. Tyler Kim is sixth. Dylan Huffine seventh. Aaron Cooper is eighth. Ninth is Brian Barnes. And Devin West is your top 10. Lights should go off on the pace car this time by. They will. Field will get ready to go to the 2x2. And we'll get ready to go back for the restart. Let's give you that full field rundown with Jason and I. We gave you your top 10. 11th is going to be Caden Anderson. Kevin Smith is 12th. 13th is Ryan Bloom. Dennis Moore is 14th. 15th, Toby Ritters. Tyler King is 16th. Ryan Gormley, 17th. Stephen O'Hare, caught up in the accident a moment ago, 18th. Dan West Jr., 19th. And Briar Reynolds is your top 20.
And then to round out the rest of the field, you got Cole Raz there in 21st. Brett Johnson, 22nd. Eric Cheney, 23rd. Ron Hunter, 24th. Frank Harris, 25th. Robert Gamble, 26th. Gary Nichols, 27th. And then that is the drivers who are on the lead lap. Then we'll head over to the 28th spot. Scott Hutchinson, first driver, 1 lap down that 91. Paul Newton, 29th. Jeff Stabnow, 30th. Chris Kynes, 31st. Ross Lundberg, 32nd. Stephen Paulison, 33rd. Troy Daggett, 34th. Dan Lowther, 35th. Chad Malik, 36th. Brett Grunewald, 37th. Ray Fournier, 38th. Lake Peterson, 39th. Eric Cox, 40th. James Vining, 41st. Mark Walls, 42nd, unfortunately done for the night after having such a strong truck. And Troy Ollison, 26 laps down in 43rd. And that is your Northwest Truck Series rundown.
Yes, and it is presented by Race on Texas. Want to support local tracks, Texas area, and racers. Join raceontexas.com. All access for $39.99 a month, and 50% will go towards the Texas track you select at sign up. Go to raceontexas.com where the action never stops. 13 to go. I don't know if that's a bad omen or not. Green flag back out at Daytona.
Oh, I'll tell you what. 13 to go. It's night. All you need it to be is Friday. Then you could call it Friday 13 to go. Yeah, and it's full,
and by
full
the way,
moon tonight.
it is a full moon. Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we did a broadcast the other night for Flow Racing, and the first thing young iRacing broadcaster Atlee Wee says is, we're going to be running, luckily not under a full moon, and I'm like, why would you say that? Like, why? Don't say that. But, okay, here we go. Ottenbacher, he's a Daytona Talladega winner, down to the inside, and he is looking to the lead.
Yeah, Sean Bright's been pushing him right back behind, along with BJ Duvall. And here comes Tyler Kim, trying to sweep both of his truck races in the last 2 weeks. Won a duel last Monday, trying to win the Daytona 200 here tonight. He's pushing Chris White really hard down to turn 1 with just 12 laps to go. Ottenbacher goes a little wide, but Brightsman still in line behind him as they work into 2.
Works to the back straightaway. Off the inside, Ottenbacher. He's got Brightsman. He's got Duvall to the bottom. Here comes now also Frazier back in the battle. White up on the outside. Tyler Kim, what an improvement for him. Winning the duel. Now, waiting to get around White. He's got Cooper there. Remember what Cooper done to Walls. Give him room. And by the way, speaking of Walls, Mark Walls is coming through the field.
Here they come through the tri-oval now. Heading into turn 1, Ottenbacher still got it. Sean Brightsman right back behind him. They're still in line. Aaron Cooper, though, flying up through this field. I
cannot believe that Tyler Kim was able to save that truck because he was practically in the wall off turn 4. But now Aaron Cooper, he's going to push Chris White really hard. He's been the best pusher all night. What's he going to do?
And by the way, my apologies. I said it was Mark Walls. It's actually the 10 truck of Cole Raz is who I was referring to that is starting to make a climb through the field. Kevin Smith is right there alongside with him. Look at them. They look just identical. That's why I thought it was Mark Walls. To the line. 10 to go. And you're watching Truck 10 climb through the field. Remember, last year on a Monday night, except with the Northwest Cup Series, Cole Raz, Jason, won the race.
Hey, it ain't over till it's over. This whole field up in front of him can go flying apart, and he can make it through it. Just like Austin Dillon did back at the Coke 0400 at Daytona last year. He was in the back, and the whole field flew apart. Yep, there we go. That's a yellow. That's probably somewhere in the back.
There is a caution. It is Frank Harris, the legend, in the grass. The number 11 off the bottom of the apron in turn 2. And the yellow is out. 10 laps to go. Caution. Here's a look at what happened. Oh, wow. And boy, did Tyler King get lucky, Truck Series champion of last year, to miss it. By the way, Jason, this is not the welcome home party for Tyler King wanted to have for the welcome back for a new season after being champion of last year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because he is such a strong truck last season. Hence why he was the champion. But so far, 22nd. But hey, 9 laps to go. Still could have this entire front field wrecked, just like I said for Cole Raz. Tyler King could be sitting in the catbird seat. It's still anybody's race here, Wesley.
We will step away, and yes, it is Chris White now, the man that everybody's gunning for. Can he win it? John Onenbacher. These drivers are up in the front. Final break. We'll take you to the finish when we come back from Daytona for the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV. This is iRacing on LSRTV and CRN.
At CLICKIT RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Let's go to the top of the hour. We'll pause for 10 seconds of radio identification and bring this race to the finish when we come back. Lights are off for the pace car. This is Racing on CRN.
Community Radio Network, WCRN 87.9 FM, Clayton, Garner, Raleigh, North Carolina, USA. We are CRN.
Welcome back to Daytona. Lights off on the pace car. Coverage simulcast on CRN as well as on iRacing on LSRTV. And remember, Wednesday, we're going to do it all over again right here for the Virtual World Center of Racing for the Northwest Fix-It RV Fixed Setup Series. Those are the Xfinity cars. The Northwest CLICKIT RV. I think I said Fix-It RV. The CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series. They can fix your RV, though. So, yeah, that's a nice plug somehow, some way. Sorry, people. I've got, like, my back tooth has literally, Jason, been throbbing all day. And I, like, have the verge of either thinking toothache is coming or it's just my gums are sore or swollen. They're hurting really bad. And I'm just trying to make my best to get through it so I can pop some medicine and go to bed. So, ready to bring this one to the finish with John Ottenbacher. Chris White on the front row. The lights are off on the pace car. And Jason, we are ready to decide with 6 laps to go who will win round 1 for the trucks of the Northwest at Daytona. Green flag back out. Ottenbacher, White, extend the speed on the front straightaway going to 1.
Yeah, Chris White, John Ottenbacher, here's the question, Wesley, is who's going to get the nod heading off turn 2? And right now it's looking like Chris White, but they get detached. Here comes the 46 of Brightsman. He's going to push Ottenbacher. I believe that Ottenbacher and White are going to be side by side. Oh, big crash! Huge crash!
Paulison is airborne. Briar Reynolds, Ron Hunter. Trucks are still spinning to the back straightaway. Caution is out with 5 to 6 to go.
That was a slam to the outside wall.
And remember, Jason, Briar Reynolds got up in the fence and got airborne in the duels last week leading. Remember, you mentioned it.
Yes,
here's your replay.
Oh, that's just clearing yourself and not being clear. Oh, my goodness, what a hit.
Was that Ritters? Was that Ritters that got him? I think he did. Man. Yeah, that was out of the park, by the way. I call that out of the reservation, out of the ballpark. I believe I can fly. We can't say R. Kelly versus anymore. Sorry. That's right. I forgot.
I don't think you can catch that truck, though, if it goes out of the ballpark.
Standing on top of the world, will that work? Can you take me higher by Creed? Will that work? Okay. All right. Well, anyhow, 5 laps to go. The question is, Jason, can they get this race restarted in its regular scheduled distance to try to finish here, or do we go to overtime number 1?
Oh, the way it's looking right now, I believe they should. I mean, if they come down this time, realistically, they're going to have 4 to go, so they're going to have everybody bundled up. Then they could take the 1 to go signal with 3 to go and then take the green with 2. So I do believe it's about a 95% chance. I do believe they will go the distance.
And, Jason, if you remember, there were times the other night when we saw the pace car lights literally go off like going into turn number 1 and 2. While they were still under caution when they crossed the start-finish line. So that is something that I like that the iRacing has given the features to the Northwest Series officials to control to try to make these restarts and cautions not be longer in length and to make restarts happen faster too.
Yeah, that's the beauty of iRacing that you know, you're able to do in these hosted created sessions. You know, you could do everything from giving somebody a penalty when the simulator doesn't exactly register. You know, I mean, there's glitches here and there, but overall, iRacing's a great platform to start any kind of league racing on, especially like the Northwest Division. It's got everything from quick commands for 1 to go to green, throw a yellow if the game doesn't recognize one truck spinning on the racing surface. There's way too many commands. I don't even remember all of them. Let's just put it that way, folks. There is way too many commands. But that's a good thing. You can do so much with iRacing, and that's the beauty of it. You feel like you're racing in real life right from your own home.
By the way, I know that usually there is a QR code that pops up on the broadcast. If Charles wants to throw that up there really, really quickly. Want to join iRacing? Scan the QR code on the screen to find out more information. I believe now that if you sign up today, you get 40% off as a new subscriber member to iRacing. Sign up again, iRacing today. Go to one of those portals and become a fan of so many, whether it's NASCAR, to the trucks, to Cup Xfinity, to IMSA cars, to the World of Outlaws, to dirt car racing, street stocks, pro stocks, you name it. Sprint cars, you name it. I mean, I'm telling you, you can pick any and everything. So, again, that's iRacing. Want to keep it up there 10 more seconds. Just click on that little QR code. There you go. If somebody wants to press the little camera one more time, there you go. All right, it's going away in 3, 2, 1.
Already gone.
All right.
It was gone before you even said it.
Overtime's coming up. Chris White. So listen to this, Jason. We talked about Cole Raz, remember? He won the race last year. Controversial if it may be. I don't know if you were working with us at the time. I know that Terry, no, I'm sorry. It was someone else, and it was Justin Prince working with us as well on that night. Cole Raz won the race. However, there was a controversial deal where he took the checkered flag, stopped his car in the infield grass after passing the start-finish line and started celebrating. In doing so, they tried to disqualify him. It gave the win. However, it was officially second to Aaron Cooper. You know Aaron Cooper in this restart wants to one-up being the runner-up last year.
Oh, yeah, for sure, Wesley. And like I said, he was my driver. Look where he's at. Third right now, and he's going to be pushing one of the best trucks all night long. And, hey, there's some guys up here right now. Kevin Smith up to 10. CLICKIT RV's own Kevin Smith all the way up to 10. He's got a shot at this, along with Devin West in that beautiful number 5, restarting 7th. But, boy, they're about to let these machines roar. 2 to go right here, Wesley.
And still in the scheduled distance. We can go into overtime if it happens. 2 to go. Cooper now. The monkey in the middle. There's contact. Brightsman, White, they save it. He shoots up the track. Kevin Smith, Cooper, Frazier, all tore up. Dan West Jr. involved, Kevin Smith involved, and we will go to overtime at Daytona.
I tell you what, Wesley, I saw Aaron Cooper shoot it 3 wide up the middle because he had a huge run. He knew that Chris White could have maybe held him up. I don't think that was really Aaron Cooper's fault. I think that they pinched Aaron Cooper, and that's what started that melee. But by the look at it, we're going to take a look at the replay here. You see Aaron Cooper gets the run, takes it. He's to the outside, and yeah, unfortunately, it's just a racing deal right there. Really nobody's fault. Everybody's just going for it.
You know what it looked like, Jason? It looked like that the 47 of White and the 46 of Brightsman smothered the truck in the middle of Aaron Cooper, and there was contact made or a side draft, and that caused everybody's trucks by the air to get disturbed. There was disturbance there, and it caused the accident.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking at the rear view here of Sean Brightsman. We're going to take a look here. And more than likely, I believe you are right, but like I said, it's just a fortunate racing deal. Everybody's being very aggressive. You'll see Aaron Cooper, he'll try to stick the middle, and yeah, unfortunately, he just gets sandwiched right there in the middle. It doesn't really know what to do, tries to lay off, and unfortunately, just calamity corner right there to turn 1. That was half the field.
Man, I can't keep my chow down from that camera angle. Wow, man, you know what the landscapers are saying? Hey, dude, not my grass. hey, Jason, look who's up in second.
EJ Duvall.
My goodness, Charles, I got to bring you in here. I wonder if his bad voodoo is good voodoo.
Well, I don't know all about that because I'm not a big into the voodooing and stuff, but half the field's gone, so his chances just got a little better.
Stakes just improved a big amount as well. Hey, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV. The Northwest Truck Series is brought to you by, again, CLICKIT RV, located in Milton, Freewater, Oregon. They are the Columbia Basin's low price leader for new or pre-owned RVs. Capture model closeout deals before they're gone. CLICKIT RV in Milton, Freewater is located 2 miles south of the Washington border on Highway 11, or find them anywhere online at CLICKITRVMiltonFreewater.com. Don't forget, every Sunday, scrolling on the bottom, well, it's not scrolling, it's just in still mode, the Press Box Motorsports Podcast with Charles Wooten and Brockton Packard and other weekly guests as they talk about all things sim racing related with a splash of real racing in the weekly mix podcast on LSRTV. That's every Sunday, usually Sunday afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central. And, of course, thank you so much. Let's take a look one more time at our CLICKIT. No, I'm sorry. Your NC 8-1 call before you dig. Virginia 811 call before you dig. Caution summary, there it is. 7 cautions, 14 laps, lead changes 25. And I must say, 2 cautions before the first half of the race. It's been more action-filled, Jason, definitely, since we've got into the second half, after halftime, or halfway.
Yeah, that's usually what happens, though, Wesley, at these plate tracks. You know, it's calm at the beginning. We only had that one caution, really, the big one there on lap 12, but ever since then, it's just been really, really aggressive once these guys got past the 100-mile mark, and now they're going to go into their first attempt at overtime. There are 3 attempts at a green-white checkered if necessary, so they're already going to use 1, but really so far, still anybody's race. But, you know, oh my goodness, it's so hard to pick a winner right now, though. But look at Ryan Gormley up there in the number 22, plus 36. He's up there, and oh my goodness, what a spot. Jeff Stabnow, after being a few laps down, I believe, earlier on in the race, being the pole sitter, he is up to 7. Wow. Imagine if Jeff Stabnow wins the pole, gets wrecked at the beginning of this race, laps down, comes back up to the front, and somehow wins this thing. That would be incredible.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into overtime now. Officially, there are 81 laps on the board. We are getting ready for the first attempt of 3 of overtime. So here's the deal. They'll take the green flag. If they come to the line and they take the white flag, then the next flag ends the race. If there's a caution, they'll race back to the checker flag. Unless there's like a massive wreck and they throw caution and the field is frozen like NASCAR does at time of the accident for scoring to determine the winner. If they go again and there is a caution before they take the white flag, then they will re-rack them, restack them, and go 2 more times. And in the 3rd attempt of overtime, if there is an accident at any time before the white flag, the race is considered official. However, they take the white flag, it is wreckers or checkers to decide the winner. Jason Rockefeller alongside, I'm Wesley Outland. Terry Radford, hope he'll be here back with us on Wednesday. He had an emergency he had to take care of, feeling a little bit under the weather. Audenbacher and Duvall are on the front row. White West, row number 2. Huff Hines Barnes, row 3. Stabnow Gormley in row number 4. Caden Anderson, Robert Campbell. Overtime to decide the Daytona 200 Plus for the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV. Back inside the Geico restart. Oh, they wreck each other. Oh my goodness! Duvall and Audenbacher, the front leaders, crash one another, and there's no caution. Are you serious?
Oh my goodness!
Devin West leads.
Oh, this has become anybody's race.
Open charity awaits. Wow. Audenbacher and Duvall just threw it all the way. Here comes now White back to the lead. Huff Hines outside, West to the inside. Look at Ryan Gormley. He's up to 4th, the 22. Caden Anderson and Frazier. Oh
my goodness.
Hold it together, guys.
Tight. Where did Aaron Cooper come from? He's already back up there at the front.
Wow.
This is anybody's race, Wesley, coming to the white flag.
White flag, this is it. Final time around in overtime 1. Wreckers or checkers? Chris White's got the lead. West is behind. Huff Hines, Gormley. Last chance to make a move the back straightaway.
Oh boy, it's going to be a crapshoot. Out of line. Here comes one truck.
That's the 6. He's looking to go 3 wide up the middle. Chris White, he's trying to hold up 4 lanes at once. Devin West on the bottom. This is going to be a show for the ages. They wrecked behind him into 3 for the final time.
They have wrecked Brian Barnes and a bunch of other trucks like Aaron Cooper and others involved. Meanwhile, they come storming off the tri-oval into turn 4 to the line. Huff finds as they're spinning. Chris White crashes. Devin West in the crash. Wrecking at the line. Caden Anderson wins as they're crashing at the line. Caden Anderson wins as Cole Raz flips across the start-finish line. Huffines crashes. Caden Anderson wins at Daytona. Are you friggin' serious?
Oh my God. Caden Anderson was like 5th to last in the first quarter of this race.
Can we see the last lap again? Can we see that last lap again? You have got to relive it. Wow.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking over one another because there was just so much going on. There was so much to call.
Watch this.
Wow.
Coming out of turn 4, or the back straightaway actually. This is on the back stretch. This is after they, look at them. That was Brian Barnes, by the way, champion of the Cup Series, got turned there. Chris White involved. Now, look at this battle. Chris White on the inside of the 6 of Huffines. Frazier up there. West on the bottom. And look at Caden Anderson. Just stays on the inside. They wreck each other. Raz.
Oh my gosh.
Huffines and Caden Anderson, like the part of the Red Seas from a Bible in a red truck, is going to win round 1 at Daytona. Wow.
I want to know if we can get a slow-mo coming up to that start-finish line, because once that 6 almost hit that outside wall,
yes,
it like accordion affected the field on that outside. Those 3 trucks like him and Cole Raz and Caden Anderson, right? Talk about right place, right time. Wow.
New year.
What a finish.
A new season. And what a finish. Man, oh boy, you took the words right away from me as well. Wow. Caden Anderson is the winner. Dylan Huffines, by the way, 0.01. Here's your unofficial results. Pending anything from Daytona from the officials. 0.035. The overall finish, Caden Anderson and Dylan Huffines. And as my partner, Jason Rockefeller, said, he was airborne, crashed into the fence when he crossed the line in 2nd. How about Ryan Gormley? 3rd, first time ever in a points race for the Northwest. Cole Raz, winner last year. 4th of Super Friends tonight. Seth Frazier, 5th. Devin West, Paul Newton, Brett Johnson, a solid top 10. Robert Gamble. Oh, and by the way, the defending truck champion of the Northwest of last year, Tyler King. Jason will finish in the top 10.
Yeah, and then you got the rest of the field here in 11th, all the way back to the top 20. You got Chris White, unfortunately. Such a dominant truck coming home 11th. Look at RV's very own Kevin Smith comes home 12th. Frank Harris, nice rebound for him with all the calamity that happened after spinning by himself earlier. Top 15 for him. Nice job. Shout out to Frank. 13th. 14th is Brian Barnes. Gary Nichols in the 8 finishes 15th. Jeff Stabnow, 16th, your pole sitter. Aaron Cooper, one of the most dominant trucks of the night, 17th. Russ Lundberg, 18th. Dan West Jr., 19th. And John Ottenbacher rounds out the top 20.
So 21st will go to Ryan Bloom. Wow. B.J. Duval, 2 laps down in the finish. What might have been 22nd. Sean Brightsman, 23rd. Dennis Moore, 24th. Stephen Paulus in the top 25. Daggett, dual winner last week, will finish 26th. Ron Hunter, 27th. Big Bird, Eric Cheney. Tyler Kim, also a dual winner last week, 29th. Scott Hutchinson, round out the top 30.
Yeah, and then you got 31st. You got Stephen O'Hare. Tough night for him, 8 laps down. One of the strongest drivers all night. Toby Ritter's a fan favorite. Always strong here at the plate tracks. He'll come home 32nd. Ray Fournier, 33rd. Briar Reynolds in that number 12 car. He'll come home 34th. Chris Kynes, 35th. Blake Peterson, 36th. Eric Cox, 37th. Dan Lowther, 38th. Chad Malik, 39th. And Brett Grunewald rounds out the top 40.
And, of course, Vining, Walls, Ollison, the guy that had got the first accident of the night. By the way, let's take a look at the Virginia 811 call before you dig. Race caution summary one more time on the bottom left of the TV monitor. 7 cautions, 21 caution laps, and lead changes are 28. There was a total amount of 84 laps to go in this race. There was one attempt at an overtime finish, and again, oh boy, time of the race was unofficially, let's see here, close to 1 hour and 43 minutes and 30 seconds. Coming up is the Press Box Motorsports Podcast post-race wrap-up, and we will grab a word with our top 3, Jason and I, from Daytona. A wild one. Yakima, Washington's Caden Anderson. Super Friends does it again 2 years in a row at the virtual World Center of Racing. We're back at Daytona next. Welcome back to Daytona, and what a wild race for the opening round for the Northwest Truck Series presented by CLICKIT RV. I'm Wesley Outland, Jason Rockefeller alongside. So was Charles Wooten, giving us updates from the pit, reports with drivers, as well as handling the production. And it's time for the Press Box Motorsports Podcast post-race show. By the way, don't forget that show, you can join Charles Wooten, Brockton Packard, and weekly guests as they talk about all things sim racing related with a splash of real racing in the commentary as well. The mix is weekly on LSRTV, YouTube, and Facebook at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central every Sunday afternoon. Let's go down to our third place man when it's all said and done. Cole Raz. Well, actually, they're saying Ryan Gormley has finished in third. Ryan, man, what a way to come out of the gate and make yourself known for the Northwest Series. Oh, my. What's your thoughts of that crazy race at Daytona?
Yeah, that was mayhem for sure. I'm just happy I got to see some of the guys I used to race in the Northwest Super Late Model Tour, and actually finished behind a couple of those guys. So.
Yeah, Ryan, congratulations, man, on your third place run here tonight. Now, you look at this race, you pick up, you take it. What do you got to take away now from running this first race here tonight at Daytona, and how do you take what you learned, who you figured out is going to work well, who's going to be aggressive? How do you take that and move on the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of new guys that, well, I am the new guy, but there's a lot of guys I haven't raced a lot with, but there are some familiar names that I have raced with over the last 3 or 4 years. So, you know, Daytona isn't really an indicator for, you know, the rest of the season. So I'm just happy to stay out of the big stuff. I did get involved in a couple actually, but was able to use the fast repair strategically, and I'm just happy Caden Anderson was able to take the lead and win.
Ryan, we can segue this into thanking your sponsors as well. Obviously, it's got to be a momentum boost for you to be up in the top 3 in the points to start the season. Are we going to see you run for a championship this year?
Yeah, definitely will try. I think Monday nights will be more doable than the Wednesday night fixed class, but I am running at the dirt track out here this summer. So, but yeah, no, I appreciate all my sponsors. I work at Wrestler Motors, and so if you're interested in a vehicle in Bozeman, Montana, I work there as a salesperson. And then, of course, sure to appreciate you guys and CLICKIT RV for sponsoring the series.
Man, all I know is you mentioned Bozeman, Montana. You think of Butte, Montana. I think of the TV show Yellowstone. So, for sure. Thanks, buddy. Third place, ladies and gentlemen, for and those towns are mentioned a lot during the show as well. So, had a squirrel moment. My apologies. When it's all said and done, Ryan Gormley will finish in the number 3 position. We go to second now, and joining us now is going to be the driver of Dylan Huffines. Dylan, you were up in the fence when you come to the checkered flag. What was it like in the cockpit? And is there any relief of knowing that you did get second since you couldn't win?
I mean, there's a little bit of relief, but, you know, the win is always what we're going for. It's what kind of locks you into the playoffs. I got too worried about Cole coming on the outside, and I tried to move to block him. I didn't realize he was so close and kind of turned everyone into the fence there. I think I would have been fine if I would have just stayed where I was, but just mistake on my part. We learned from that, get better.
Yeah, Dylan, good job on your second place. Good to say that virtually you're all right after that wild wreck. But you take tonight's race from the Truck Series. Now, yes, it's different than the B car. How do you take tonight's race and transfer it over into Wednesday night's event, considering the fact that they're 2 totally separate, series? One's a fixed, one's an open. So how do you take what you learned here tonight and take it over into Wednesday night's event, knowing that a lot of these guys are also going to be racing in that as well?
I think the biggest thing you really learn from all this, from the race tonight, is just knowing who you can work with, who you can trust, who you can trust to push, and who you can trust to be behind you, not do anything to get you upset. And you can be a lot more aggressive with the Xfinity cars because they're a lot easier to control. With these trucks, if you get a little bit of a bump, it's really hard to keep them straight. But yeah, I think you'll see a lot more aggression Wednesday night for sure.
Dylan, if you could go back, and we segue this into thanking your sponsors in closing as well, if you could go back to that white flag lap, what would you have done differently?
I think I would have just stayed where I was, honestly. I think I was in a pretty good position to win it. I just made a mistake. Want to thank Hyperco Springs and Thomas Builders for coming on board this year. And that's all I got. Thank you, guys.
Still a good points day, though, right?
Oh, yeah. Always a good points day for top 5s.
All right, there you go. Dylan Huffines, Dilly will finish in the number 2 position. Victory lane we go. 2 years in a row for Super Friends. Kohlraas did it last year. This year, Rex flipping across the finish line along with the driver of Dylan Huffines. And this year, Caden Anderson ready to make the right move. Party to the Red Seas of the Red 37 truck, and he wins in Daytona. The Yakima, Washington driver. Harvest Chevrolet sponsorship machine. Caden, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's going on? What are you thinking? What was the mindset going through that last lap?
Oh, well, you know, we just ran around in 35th all race and just kind of just waited until like 10, 15 to go to try to make our move to the front. And luckily, you know, everything worked out to where we were there in position to win at the end, and everybody else kind of wrecked each other, and I kind of just stayed out of it.
Yeah, King, congratulations on your win, man. You were there for the first one when I was here with LSRTV back at Richmond last season. Here you are now in Victory Lane for the opener of Season 10. Man, I was telling Wesley when we were coming to the checkered flag and I saw you won, I was like, oh my gosh, he was almost fifth before last place in the first quarter of that race, man. What did you do all night to really try to work your way back up to the front? Because I was telling Wesley earlier in the race how hard it was to pass. Everybody was really going mainly too wide. Did you just avoid everything? Did you try to time your passes right when you're in the back of the pack? What did you do to get yourself in victory lane here tonight, my friend?
Yeah, a lot of it was just attrition, you know. Just let everybody else wreck each other out, and things will end up working out how they should. So that's what we did. We just rode around in the back and a few cautions here and there, and then a couple of wrecks on the last lap put me in position to win.
Caden, you thinking championships this year? And obviously, this has got to be a special win for you.
Yeah, hopefully we can run for the championship and get it done this year. And yeah, winning the first race of the year and starting off right is good for the team and for myself.
Sponsors?
Harvest Chevrolet.
Harvest Chevrolet. Hey, can I ask you one more question? We'll get off the air here. What do you think we're going to see with the Xfinity fixed setup cars here at Daytona on Wednesday night?
I think you're going to see a lot of good racing, a lot of action, and probably a lot of wrecks too, just like tonight. Daytona is just Daytona, and that's how it's going to be.
Doesn't matter whether it's got the of course the tailgates, the back of those trucks, or those Cup cars, Xfinity cars. Doesn't matter. Again, but it's all said and done. Yakima, Washington. Caden Anderson, winner of the Daytona 200 here tonight for the Northwest Truck Series, presented by CLICKIT RV. Jason, man, wow. Instantaneously, probably one of the most classic finishes I'll ever remember in my 4th year as the voice of the Northwest Racing Series. This event was one awesome race, not just across the board, besides the finish. It was highly entertaining.
Yeah, it was a very interesting race to say the least, Wesley. And I mean, congratulations to Caden Anderson. Like I told him there in the post-race discussion, he was there for the first one when I was with you guys, and he's here right now. But yeah, what a race! First half of the race, very uneventful. Besides the one big wreck earlier on, all the guys really kept it clean. You know, it was so interesting to see how easily it was for them to just keep on going at some points. Like Ron Hunter, amazing save in turn 4, still can't get over that. And, I mean, overall, you know, these guys are going to take everything they learned tonight. They're going to bring it over to Wednesday night if they are racing in the fixed series on Wednesday night, and really just try to build momentum off of this race in general for the rest of the remainder of the Truck Series season. But I had a blast. What a finish. Congrats to Caden and everybody over at the Northwest Division. I mean, just what a race in general. I still speechless after that because that was just so much to unfold those last 2 laps.
Hey, by the way, a public service announcement. If you did not know, this Saturday is officially daylight savings time. I can't believe I'm mentioning it again, but don't forget to put your clock ahead 1 hour. That's right, you lose an hour of sleep when you go to bed unless you're working the graveyard shift. You're gaining an extra hour of work. And, of course, daylight savings time is going to be this Saturday at 2 a.m. Eastern. And Charles has got a PSA as well. What do you got for us, Charles?
So I just want to make a public service announcement as well that if you have something where you have to set your clock, you need to get better technology because most everything sets itself these days. So get with the times. That's all.
Wes is old, man.
Listen, there are still things of the world where you've got to set your clock back an hour, okay? Or set it ahead an hour like a stove or never mind. I'm getting the hell off the air. Never mind. Caden Anderson wins. We'll do it again with the Northwest Fixed Setup Series. Again, the Northwest CLICKIT RV Fixed Setup Series on Wednesday. By the way, thanks again to CLICKIT RV, Pressbox Motorsports Podcast, Race on Texas, Kaufman Creative, Virginia 811 Call Before You Dig, CRN, and LSRTV. And again, congratulations to Caden Anderson. For everybody at Rocket Racing Media, LSRTV, for Jeff Stabnow, for Charles Wooten, Jason Rockefeller, Terry. Hope to get you back in the box here next week or on Wednesday. I'm Wesley Outland. Good night. God bless. Congratulations to Caden Anderson, winner of a wild, unforgettable finish we will never forget tonight from the virtual World Center of Racing at Daytona.